If anybody can give me the names of the top 10 in this year's Mr. Olympia in the open division, no particular order, you are a psychic. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. This year's Olympia is an extremely stacked Olympia lineup. To pick the top 10 in any order, just to get the right names in there, that's going to be a feat in of itself. I've already done previous videos, talked about it, and I think it's practically set in stone. The top 4, Nick Walker, Hadi Choopan, Samson Dauda, and Derek Lunsford. I think probably the only ones who might not agree with that would be Bob Cicherillo. But beyond that, I don't think anybody else does not see those 4 in the top 4 places. That leaves us 6 more placings to fill. Let's take a look at this lineup first. Okay, we have Chen Long Shen, Beirut Tabani, Samson Dauda, Derek Lunsford, Hadi Choopan, Big Ramy, Brandon Curry, Sasarati, Tonio Burton, Regan Grimes, Nick Walker, Andrew Jack, Good Vito, William Bonac, Hakeem Williams, Martin Fitzwater, Rafael Brandau, and Brett Wilkin. I think all of them except for, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them are top 10 Olympians. Beirut Tabani might have been a top 10 Olympian. Oh, I'm sure he would have been a top 10 Olympian if he'd been allowed in the country in previous Olympias that qualified for. So we got top 4, Nick, Hadi, Derek, Samson. Who's filling in those other 6 spots? I would have to say that most people would find it hard not to put Andrew Jack and Martin Fitzwater in those top places, their top 10. With Martin Fitzwater beat Andrew Jack last year. Martin Fitzwater 4th, Andrew Jack 5th. That would leave us only 4 spots to fill. We got about 8 or 10 more, 8 or 10 top 10 Olympians left that could fill in those 4 spots. Who's going to take those places? This is going to be one of the toughest to call. Now, you got Beirut Tabani, who should have been in the last 3 Olympias. Unfortunately, we know the situation, wasn't able to get it to the country. Most people, I think, or a lot of people, would have him filling one of those spots in the top 10, although we haven't seen him yet standing against the very best in the world. I think a lot of people will go in that direction. How can you count out William Bonac, who at one point looked like he might be almost out the door, seemed to rejuvenate himself, doing a lot of shows, got himself back to the Olympia again, so he won one of the shows, and he's placing well in the other shows. It's a little difficult to count him out. Another one Brandon Curry, former champion. He too looked like he was just about out the door as recent as this past Olympia. Ronald Classic, he looked totally rejuvenated. It's going to be pretty difficult to not put Brandon Curry still in the top 10. Big Rodney's supposed to be back in the lineup again. Now, I don't think he has a chance of winning the Olympia anymore, but I find it kind of hard to also, at least at this point still, take him out of the top 10. But once again, we probably only got 4 places to fill. You got someone like Akeem Williams, who, although he's 40, 41 now, seems to be a late bloomer, hit his stride, and his issue has always been his conditioning, and he seems to be hitting the conditioning and hitting it better and better each time. Carries a ton of muscle. Only thing going against him is his high lats. But that being said, his only bad shot is his back double biceps, where his high lats and shallow lower back are pretty noticeable. But his back lat spread is fine, and his side poses, you don't see it. Front poses, he's so wide on top, such big sweeping quads and narrow waist. It takes away from noticing those high lats. Akeem Williams could be extremely dangerous, and he's another top 10. He's placed as high as 6. Regan Grimes we got there, but he's still a big question mark. Tony O'Burden, even though there's a lack of size with Tony O'Burden, guy has all the tools, is not missing a thing, brings in razor sharp conditioning, and gets better every time he steps on stage. A lot of people have some high hopes for him. Hard to keep him out of the top 10. I believe he placed as high as 8. And it's Rafael Brandao, who is, I believe, a 10th place Olympia. Sasarati. He was beating Andrew Jack. I'm trying to remember which show it was. I think it was the FIBO, whichever it was a recent show when Andrew Jack qualified for the Olympia. Sasarati was beating Andrew through prejudging, and you can make an argument for him beating Andrew in the finals. Does that put him in the top 10 now? Filling in one of those four spots that are left? After all, we have Andrew Jack in the top 10. Vitaly Ugolnikov, good veto. He's another one. First Olympia, but people have a lot of high expectations for him. A couple of years ago, he really pushed Modern Fitzwater at the Detroit Pro. Now, what was it? Yeah, no, it was last year. Whichever it was, he pushed Modern Fitzwater really hard at the Detroit Pro. Modern Fitzwater placed 4th at the Olympia. Where's that leave with Vito? The moral of this video is that other than the top 4, and probably Andrew and Martin. We could throw into that mix. Top four being Hadi, Nick, Derek, and Samson. It's going to be virtually impossible to figure out who's going to fill in the rest of those spots. And then we still have most likely a few more athletes that are going to be qualified for the Olympia. Don't know who it is. We don't know what's going to happen. Maybe somebody that's already qualified is going to be in one or more of those shows and take another qualification away from somebody. Any way you look at it, this year's Olympia is going to be a really, really stacked lineup. And once again, if you can tell me who's going to be in the top 10 in the open division in no particular order, you're a psychic. You can agree or disagree with anything I've said in this video. Either way, let me know in the comments section. This is Michael Diamond. I'd like to thank you for watching Muscle Central.